Hello everyone, welcome to the channel where we make web animations fun. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make page transition animations in Next.js using Framer Motion. Right now, I have my browser open here on my screen with two tabs showing websites that have the exact same content. But there's a key difference. When I navigate between pages on this one, it just snaps instantly from one page to another, the typical Next.js behavior. But on this other one, you can see a smooth transition animation as we switch pages. Now, before we dive in, I'll assume you already have a basic understanding of React and Next.js. Also, for this tutorial, I'll be using the page router to handle animations. As you probably know, Next.js is a server-side rendering framework, which means animations don't run on the server. Because of that, page transition animations with Framer Motion tend to work more reliably with the page router. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started. I have my app entry point open here. You can see the navigation component at the top, the main component that renders all our pages, and then the footer at the bottom. At this point, I'm assuming you already understand how this structure works, if you have prior experience with React. Now, to apply a transition effect to all our pages, we need to create a wrapper that will handle the animation logic. Inside our components folder, let's create a new file called pagetransition.tsx. Inside this component, we'll accept children as a prop, so we need to define its type. We'll create a props type and set children to React node. Then, we simply return a div that wraps those children. Now, if we go back to our app entry point and wrap our application with this page transition component, you'll notice that nothing changes yet. And that's expected, because we haven't added any animation logic. So, let's do that next. First, you need to install Framer Motion. Go to your terminal and type npm install motion. I've already done that. After installation, we import motion and animate presence from Framer Motion. Now, we convert our wrapper div into a motion.div so Framer Motion can control it. Then, we wrap everything with animate presence. This allows components to animate as they enter and leave the DOM. Now for the animation, we define three key properties: initial, animate, and exit. Initial defines how the component looks before it enters the DOM. Animate defines how it behaves when it appears. And exit defines how it leaves. Let's set the initial to opacity 0 and x 100 and set the animate to opacity 1 and x 0 and also set exit opacity 0 and x minus 100. Now here's a very important part. For Framer Motion to detect page changes, we need to add a key to the motion div. To do that, we import useRouter from Next.js, then initialize it. Const router equals useRouter and set the key to router.pathname. This ensures that every route change triggers a new animation. If the key doesn't change, the animation will not run. Next, we add a transition property. Set duration to 0.5 and ease to ease out. And finally, on animate presence, set mode to wait. Now, when we save, you can see our page transitions working smoothly. At this point, you can always come back and tweak the animation values to get different effects. But if you start adding a lot of animation properties, this can get messy very quickly. A cleaner approach is to use variants. We define a variance object, move all our animation states into it, and pass it into the motion div. Then, we reference each state using initial, animate, and exit. You can name them anything you want. Just make sure they match. And that's it. Your pages now transition smoothly when navigating between routes. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I'll see you in the next one.